So what is special about challah is that we have two of them. Look how gorgeous they are. And why do we have two of them? When the Jewish people were wandering in the desert, they had to eat something. And God gave a very special thing. Every day, God gave something called manna. Some food that fell down from heaven. But on Shabbat, we rest. On the Sabbath, we rest. So God wasn't going to get us to gather the food in on the Sabbath. And instead, on Friday, God gave 2 portions of manna. 1, 2. And because of that, we have 2 chalot to remember that on Shabbat we rest, but we need to eat extra special food. We have 2 portions of challah, and that's the way that we celebrate our Sabbath.
Jewish cuisine is different from any other because we can have anything provided it conforms to what is kosher. Kosher means food that is fit and clean according to biblical law. We have particular meat that is kosher, and the animals are ones that chew the cud and have a cloven hoof, so a hoof like this. So a good example is maybe a cow or a goat. And then we have fish, and it's only fish that have fins and scales. And one other major important thing about the food is that we cannot have milk and meat together. This morning we're going to be making traditional challah and round challah. Starting with the traditional challah, you will need 600 grams of strong white flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 sachet of dried yeast, and that's 7 grams. So regular tap water. What it does, it shows me if the yeast is alive. Now what we're looking for is a few bubbles. 100 mils of vegetable oil, about 2 tablespoons of clear honey, an egg to go in the mixture, but you also need egg for glazing. Now, in order to make sure that the egg is kosher, we need to break the egg, check there's no blood spot, and this egg yolk can be used for glazing. For the round challah, the additional ingredients that you will need: cinnamon, 1 small apple, and that's peeled and finely grated or pureed, and some raisins. With the challah dough that you made in advance, we're now going to knock it back, and then we're going to give it to the rabbi to bless. This is what we're looking for. Now this is the traditional dough that you have on the Friday night. You buy 2, or in my household, I make 2. I'm going to knock out the air. I'll put my hand across and knock out, look, whoa. All right?
And the blessing thanks God again for making us different and special by separating off the dough, by taking it off and not just eating the whole thing. And the blessing is Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahafrish challah. Did you see the last word? What word was that last word? That's right, so to separate the challah, and that's where the word challah comes from.
I'm going to give you all 50 grams of mixture, then divide it into 3. Roll each piece into a sausage shape. And the easiest way to teach the children is so that they are all 3 are facing you. Then you're going to cross it over like a H shape. And then very carefully you plait, like you were plaiting hair. You're then going to transfer it to a tray lined with baking parchment paper, and then you are going to glaze it with egg yolk, and when it is completely covered, we will then sprinkle either sesame seeds or poppy seeds. Like all dough, it needs to rise twice. This is called proving, and it takes 20 minutes. Roll this in one long sausage. And again, we make it round because it represents the circle of life. And then very carefully swirl it round, like a snail, like a snake. and then put it on a tray lined with baking parchment paper.
So when everything has risen and has been kneaded, put in the oven and smells gorgeous, take it out and you have a lovely plaited challah ready. And you don't just eat it, you make a blessing to appreciate how lovely it is. And the blessing is about God bringing bread from the earth. But we know that God doesn't bring bread from the earth because we know it takes people to take the wheat and to pound it and then to do all that we've done. So this blessing thanks God, but it's really about partnership between us and God. And the blessing is Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Blessed are you, God, who brings bread from the ground. And you take some and you put it with salt.